Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all an update to my Cardfight Vanguard Drajeweled deck profile for post-Dragonsoul Resonance. We have the new Drajeweled Magnus in the latest Cardfight Vanguard booster set, being the new cover card and the main grade 3 unit used by Michiru in the 4th season of the Cardfight Vanguard Divine series. They were slowly, I would say, starting to do away with the grade 4 setup, making grade 3s that were just as strong with more faster consistency to get into those grade 3s and not having to rely on the grade 4. We saw it with Magnolia, and now we have it with Drajeweled Magnus as well, with the added pressure of this Vanguard being able to give power to rear guards for the pressure to attack, as well as still utilizing weakening your opponent's Vanguard while soul blasting cards with different grades in the deck. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the ride deck. Our energy generator, along with our starter being Julius Dracokid Glow. When wrote upon, if you went second, draw a card. The grade 1 is Jewel Core Dragon Glint. When wrote upon by Demonic Stone Dragon Jewel Neil Luster, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 2 cards with different grades from among them, put them into the soul, and shuffle the deck. So with this grade 1 alone, you can just set up more and more cards in your soul just as easily. With your grade 2 being the Demonic Stone Dragon Jewel Neil Luster. When it's wrote upon by a grade 3 with Drajeweled and its card name, soul charge 1, and if your soul has a Jewel Core Dragon Glint, which is the grade 1, draw a card. So draw power on top of being able to set up a good majority of cards in your soul, thanks to the ride line. With our grade 3 being Demonic Jewel Dragon Emperor Drajeweled Magnus, along with the copy we run in the ride deck. We're running 3 additional copies in the main deck also. With this card, at the beginning of your ride phase, choose 2 cards from your drop, put them into the soul. So setting up more cards in the soul just as easily. And on the Vanguard Circle, at the beginning of your battle phase, if your soul has a card with Drajeweled in its card name, all your front row get +5 to end of turn, working with the Persona Ride to set up those Drajeweled cards also. And on the Vanguard Circle, when this unit attacks with this play, Vanguard, in having that added power of soul blasting 4 cards with different grades. Choose one of your opponent's Vanguards till end of turn. It gets power 0. And also, if your opponent's Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, this unit gets critical +1. If this effect increases the critical and your damage zone has 4 more cards or you Persona Road this turn, choose one of your rear guards with Demonic Jewel Dragon and its card name, and it gets on the rear guard circle once per turn. When this unit attacks, you could discard a card from your hand, and this unit's drive check becomes 1 and performs drive checks to the end of that battle till the end of this turn. So this card adds to the pressure of a rear guard being able to perform a drive check as well. So after the Vanguard attack, your opponent may still have a weakened Vanguard with hopes to guard the rear guard attacks, but Drajeweled Magnus can just add to that pressure of the additional rear guard to be able to swing with a drive check also. One of the other new cards we run is the other new grade 3, which we're running 4 copies of, Demonic Jewel Dragon Geodraw. When this unit is put on the guard circle, choose a grade 3 card with Drajeweled and its card name from your ride deck. You may reveal it if you revealed a card or have a grade 3 with Drajeweled and its card name. This unit gets +5 shield to the end of that battle. And if you have a grade 3 or grade Vanguard with Drajeweled and its card name, this card gets all the following. When it's placed on rear guard during your main phase, you may soul charge 1, Energy Blast 3, choose a grade 3 or less card from your soul with a different card name from this and call it to rear guard. And on the rear guard circle once per turn, when this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater unit, if your damage zone has 4 more cards, this unit's drive becomes 2 until end of that battle. So this can be the ideal card to select with Drajeweled Magnus for the added pressure of having 2 drive checks now on top of the 1 bestowed upon it with Magnus. So then you have the attack for the pressure of a twin drive on the rear guard circle, so more chances to hit triggers with this unit alone thanks to that drive check. Now for the next grade 2 spots, some of the numbers are a little off with what I want to run, so you can mix and match depending on the cards you have. I have 4 Rockagore and then the 1 Lithor Sargor, which are good rear guard restanding power for when you use the Soul Blast 4 or more. Lithor Sargor is more of a consistent one because it gives you more of the draw power with its energy blast ability as well. So if you have more copies of Lithor Sargor, drop down the number of Rockagore you run to a 1 of count with 4 copies of Lithor Sargor. So if you have Rockagore and you just have the 1 copy like I do of Lithor Sargor, you could just drop them until you get the full playset number of Lithor Sargor, and then just run the Run Rockagore. So you have still some good grade 2s to run in tandem as well with your other cards as well. And then the other grade 2s we run include the 3 copies of Flower of Ruined Castle, and Posa. When you Soul Blast 4 more at the same time for your Vanguard's ability, if this unit, your unit did not stand by a card's ability this turn, you may stand this unit. If you stood this unit at the end of that battle, retire this unit, choose a grade 2 unit from your soul, and put it into the hand. So adding more options for adding cards back from your soul, which we have a good number of soul build-up cards in this deck, and Imposa can just help to add those cards back to our hand thanks to it. 4 copies of the new promo, Phantom Araya, Demonic Lady, Floros. When it's discarded from a hand during your turn, you may put this card into the soul. So added consistency for ride deck targets, and on rearguard once per turn, when this unit attacks Vanguard, choose up to 1 card from your drop, put it into the soul. If your opponent's Vanguard is greater than your Gator, it gets +5 to end of turn. So just more and more consistency, just needing either the discard power or the put into soul power, thanks to Floros, to be able to set up cards in your Vanguard soul. For the grade 1s, 4 copies of Compositive Freaks. If you have a grade 3 Gary Vanguard Drajeweled, it gets +5 shield. And from the drop, if you have a grade 3 Gary Vanguard Drajeweled and its card name, bind this card, choose a grade 3 card from your drop, and put it in the soul. Which grade 3s I would say are one of some of the more difficult cards to be able to set up in the soul for the Soul Blast. But we have cards like Drajeweled and then Drajeweled Magnus itself. But we also just want to be able to put those Drajeweled Magnus in the soul again to then have the consistent +5 power to the front row that the Vanguard provides also. And then other cards include the 4 copies of Melody of Fiendish Flower, Taka. Once per turn on rearguard, you can rest this unit, choose 1 card from your damage zone, and put it into your soul. If you put a card into the soul, put the top card of your deck into your damage zone face down. If you put a grade 3 card with a different card name from your Vanguard into soul charge 1. But once again, if there's other cards in your damage zone you may want, this card can help with that setup as well in the soul to be able to use. And then the 1 copy of Amethyst and the 1 copy of Rainbow Blower for the Persona Ride power to Soul Charge, and then the counter charge power that Amethyst provides to the deck also for the grade 1 targets. With our remaining grade 1s just being the Sentinel lineup, I have the 1 copy of Miranda as a placeholder for the Elementaria Sanctitude spot in the deck. So if you have that Blitz order, you can run it there. The Regalis piece that I'm running in the deck is the Evergreen Transfer. Having the play with a Soul Blast 1, choose one of your units, it gets +25,000 to end of battle. Choose one of your Vanguards, and it gets all your opponents 100 million or greater, get critical -1, taking away the pressure from over trigger plays using this Blitz order as well. With our trigger lineup being the 8 critical, it's just one of the better pressure cards to run for the fact that our Vanguard will have the critical power, and then we have the rearguard pressure as well. The 3 front triggers, which if you have the ability fronts, you can always put them here for the additional 5k power as well. The 4 heals, just running the generics once again, so we don't have to go into specifics for some of the abilities we may need for those heals. And then lastly, just the overtrigger, running Val Newt. If you wanted to run Gamalgaheld for the early pressure of 10k and a critical to your Vanguard, it works well with the deck. It's just player preference there as well, what you may want to run for this final spot in the deck. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. Just a quick update to the deck with a good majority of the cards being able to be built out of the set itself and just needing some of the older support, which have also been reprinted. I would say Lithar Sargor being one of the more difficult ones to get for the deck altogether. But as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Qualia out.